it's time now to look at the big issues this week and today with three-party strategist. Bill Pristanski is with the Conservatives, Ian Wayne is with the NDP, and Greg McEachern is with the Liberals. Okay, let's start with the agreement announced yesterday, a new border security and new border trade measures between the United States and Canada. Bill Pristanski, we've spoken with John Baird. He talks about the trade implication, but we've also spoken with the Assistant Privacy Commissioner. There are concerns about sharing of information with the Americans. Should we be concerned? Because there's a lot that still is not defined in this agreement, and some Canadians are worried about how much we should share with the Americans as a cost for doing better and freer trade.
Well, you are right. It's all about the economy. It's all about jobs. Billions of dollars of trade go back and forth between the border every day, and so it's our largest trading partner. And as you know, after 9/11, we thickened the border, and all kinds of delays happened, and probably jobs lost in Canada. But the Prime Minister and the President have come to this agreement after a lot of work by a lot of people, and it's going to help the goods and services move across the border better, and so therefore we'll have better jobs. Now, the people are concerned about privacy. They shouldn't be concerned at all, because all they're saying is, as you know, when you go across the border now, you actually scan in your passport, and that information is the information that's going to be shared with the Americans. So there's no difference in the information that's being shared. It's just you don't have to give it twice, you only have to give it once. And, you know, people shouldn't be concerned about that at all.
Okay, Ian Wayne, this was raised in question period. I believe I think Don Davies
raised it today.
this.
Brian Massey did.
Prime Minister says there's not going to be any iris scans, there's not going to be any biometric information shared.
No, it's interesting to hear the idea that there's no privacy concerns here, given that the Privacy Commissioner herself has said repeatedly that there are privacy concerns here. There are questions about how Canadians' personal information will be treated. And the problem is we just haven't had any answers from the government. We have been up asking about it. We haven't, beforehand, we had no discussion about what was going to be in this deal. We're all in favor of trade with the United States. This is our most important trading partner. New Democrats, like all the parties, obviously want to see trade. It's important for our economy. We need measures that are going to help and facilitate that trade happening. But there are always going to be some checks and balances. There's always going to be some questions about what kind of border do we want? How much information do we want to give to the Americans? How are they going to use the information? We also don't know how much this border deal is going to cost. We don't know a number of details about how it's going to be rolled out. There's a lot of questions that have not been answered by the photo op we had in Washington yesterday. It's time to bring this deal to the House of Commons, let Parliament debate it, let Parliament vote on it, let Canadians have their say. So far that hasn't happened, which is really unfortunate.
Okay, Greg, on this.
I absolutely agree with you, and I mean, and to the NDP credit, they have raised a lot of questions around privacy. There's an issue about what if you don't enter the United States but you cross American airspace? So if you're going from one part of our country to another and you don't actually end up in the United States, what information is shared? And I think Canadians have legitimate questions, and to have the government pat you on the head and say, there, don't worry, is not sufficient, especially from this government when they are not actually the fountain of forthcomingness in terms of information.
But you see, the thing is that since 9/11, what we should be doing, and what we are now doing, is we're securing the perimeter. And that's what this is all about. And then you can have freedom of going back and forth across the border. I mean, when I was last in Germany, I drove across the border to France. Now, France and Germany have had lots of wars in the past, and yet now, today, no one stops you. You just drive from Germany to France.
But they have a common economy.
Canadians actually think that lining up for 3 hours on a holiday weekend to get back into your own country is a good thing.
Europe has a common currency. Europe has a common currency. They have a common economy, which has actually led to some pretty serious economic challenges right now for Europe. I'm not sure that's the best example to use in terms of...
No, I just say that people that are worried about sovereignty, and I think sovereignty, the French aren't worried about their sovereignty. And
let's worry about
you create a perimeter around North America.
Let me just jump in.
Something to hide. If you have something to hide, then you should be concerned.
The question is, will the government commit?
Do I have to have my kid's fingerprint to go to Disney World?
Will the government... Bill, let me just jump in here. Hold on. Well, let me just jump in
here. Go for an access card.
You
don't have to go for an access card. You can line up for 3 hours.
Let me just jump in, though. Is it not true that the proof's in the pudding, in the sense that there are practices that we will have to see, and the practices will be, will we have, for example, will there be sharing? There's references all throughout the agreement to informal sharing of more law enforcement information.
Well, that is to protect citizens from terrorists. Right. There's nothing wrong with that.
But we've seen what has happened with no-fly lists. We've seen what's happened with Mayor Aurora. Will, for example, the Privacy Commissioner's advice be heeded and have some weight if she says, no, it should be corrected X, Y, Z, this should not be in it, these provisos, these caveats should be included there?
Well, the Privacy Commissioner was commenting before she even saw the deal, so I'm not sure exactly what she was commenting on. But once she sees the deal, she has a role in government and she'll make her recommendations. But the bottom line here is that people shouldn't be afraid about it. I mean, I have a Nexus card. I gave up my biometric information. I have nothing to fear about that.
You know what? I don't like this. If you have nothing to hide. No, we have rights, and this bit about you should only be worried if you have nothing to hide. No. We have rights in this country, and everybody should be standing up for them. The question is, how does this affect the average Canadian? And we still don't have anything. We still have to pay $5 to get in. We still have long lineups, and we have nothing new about infrastructure. And this is the same government. I'm surprised this announcement didn't happen in Muskoka, because that's where a ton of money that should have been spent on addressing the issues around our border was spent in terms of Tony Clement's riding. I think absolutely the New Democrats, the Liberals, Canadians, Privacy Commissioner asked tons of questions about this, because from the very beginning, it was around this time last year that through some Liberal researchers in the Globe and Mail that this deal started to come out, and the Conservatives were denying that there was something going on. And it actually started to come out. They confirmed it in January. Now it's December. We still have no more details.
Bill is saying just trust us. This is the same government that could not stand up to the Americans and deal with the Buy American clause when it came out. This is the same government that had negotiated a botched softwood lumber agreement that West Coast forestry industry is still having to pay for. This is the same government that was sitting on its hands while Canadian visitors to the United States are now being charged $5 a head every time they go into the country. This is not a government I trust around the negotiating
public safety.
Well, Janet I've been to the U.S. several times.
Okay, just let me finish, Bill. When Janet the equivalent of Peter Van Loan says the terrorists came in through Canada, what kind of job was our government doing in terms of informing these people?
Okay, last word to Bill.
Well,
this has got to be rare. You've got a last word.
This is about jobs. This is about making goods and services move across the border. This is about harmonizing rules so that companies in Canada can make products for North America, not just for Canada. Cutting costs and creating jobs for Canadians. That's what this deal is all about.
Okay. On that note, I want to thank all three of you for coming in.
Thank you.
Well, on that note, I'm going to tell you it's time for a brief break on Primetime Politics. When we come back, we'll have our longer-form coverage of some of today's key political events. We'll bring you Senate hearings into the government's Wheat Board bill and the change of command